Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL news cycle lately, you know that the Green Bay Packers are once again at the center of some intriguing rumors and developments that could reshape their roster and ultimately their future in the league. And no, I'm not talking about just any signing or typical offseason move. We're talking about a potential game changer, a player whose name has been making waves across sports media, Stefon Diggs. That's right, the all-pro wide receiver who's been a key figure in the league for years, now possibly on the move and linked to the Packers. It's a story that's got a lot of layers, and we're here to unpack everything, from what this could mean for Green Bay to the bigger picture of the NFC North and the NFL at large. So, let's start from the beginning. Over the past year, there's been quite a bit of chatter about the state of the Packers' wide receiver room. After the 2023 season, there was a lot of optimism among fans and analysts alike, with many suggesting that the Packers had assembled a core that could feature multiple WR1s. Players like Christian Watson, with his athleticism and potential, and Jayden Reed, who showed flashes of brilliance, seemed to hint at a promising future. But as we moved into 2024, reality set in. The season didn't quite go as planned for the Packers' receiving core. Injuries, inconsistent performances, and a lack of that true alpha receiver made it clear that the roster was missing that dominant, proven WR1. You see, in the NFL, having a reliable, game-changing wide receiver changes everything. It stretches defenses, creates mismatches, and gives your quarterback that extra confidence in critical moments. And while Christian Watson has shown potential, his injury history and the uncertainty about his ability to stay healthy have raised questions about whether he can be the consistent number one the Packers need. Jayden Reed, meanwhile, has been exciting but still unproven over a full season. So, when you look at the roster, it's clear that Green Bay has been searching for that true go-to receiver to elevate their offense to the next level. And that's where the conversation about free agency and trades heats up. Just a few weeks ago, Packers running back Josh Jacobs made some pretty blunt comments during an interview. He said, and I quote, "I think we need a guy that's proven to be a 1WR already." That statement resonated with fans and analysts because it underscored a simple truth. The Packers are still in need of that proven star to anchor their passing game. Now, with the wide receiver class in free agency looking a bit less star-studded than in previous years, especially with stars like T. Higgins getting franchise tagged by the Bengals and Chris Godwin remaining in Tampa Bay, the pool of top-tier free agent wideouts has shrunk. It's left many wondering whether the Packers will look to trade or sign a veteran to fill that gap. And that's exactly what makes the buzz around Stefon Diggs so intriguing. Diggs, for those of you who follow the league closely, has been one of the most consistent and explosive receivers over the last few seasons. He's been a cornerstone for the Bills, known for his route running, hands, and ability to make plays in clutch moments. But here's the twist. Diggs is now on the open market, and the rumors about a potential move to Green Bay have started to gain traction. Some analysts believe that the Packers should at least explore this possibility, even if it might seem like a gamble. Jacob Kamenker from USA Today suggested that the Packers could be interested in Diggs, not necessarily as the same player he was a few years ago, but as someone who could still bring a lot to the table and help solve their issues at receiver. What makes Diggs a compelling target? Well, for starters, his inside-outside versatility. He can line up in multiple spots, which allows offensive coordinator Luke Getsy to create mismatches and keep defenses guessing. That kind of flexibility would be a huge boost for the Packers' offense, especially considering the need to take some pressure off Christian Watson, who's shown flashes but has struggled with injuries. Having a player like Diggs could open up space for Reed, give Jordan Love a reliable target, and make the passing attack much more dynamic. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Diggs, while still talented, is approaching 32 years old next season, and he's coming off a torn ACL. That injury, which he suffered in Week 8 of the 2024 season, is a significant factor. ACL recoveries can be tricky, and there's always a concern about a player returning to full form after such a serious injury. The Packers would have to consider whether they're willing to take that risk, especially with the start of the season possibly being delayed or limited, depending on his rehab process. The injury history, combined with the fact that Diggs might no longer be the elite WR1 he once was, makes this a move that needs careful evaluation. Another critical point is the current state of the Packers' wide receiver room. Christian Watson's injury history, including fears that he might miss all of 2025, complicates things further. If Watson indeed misses the entire season, the Packers' options at receiver become even thinner. Adding Diggs, who's recovering from an ACL, might seem like a risky move, but it also highlights how desperate Green Bay is for that proven, consistent offensive weapon. The question is whether it makes sense to invest heavily in a player who might not be 100% at the start of the season, or if the team should be more patient and look to develop younger talent or draft a receiver who can grow into that role. Now, some might argue that bringing in Diggs could be a quick fix, an off-season splash that garners headlines but doesn't necessarily solve the long-term issues. The Packers are historically a team that builds through the draft, developing talent and finding hidden gems. Perhaps biding their time and waiting until next season, when they might have more cap space and draft capital, could be a smarter move. Instead of investing heavily in a veteran who's on the decline and coming off injury, they could focus on developing Jayden Reed, who has shown promise, and draft a receiver in the upcoming NFL draft. This approach aligns with their traditional philosophy of building through the draft and developing young talent. But let's not dismiss the possibility entirely. If the Packers see a window of opportunity to add a player of Diggs' caliber, even with the risks, they might consider pulling the trigger. A one-year deal, perhaps, to see if he can return to form after rehab, could be a strategic move. It would give Jordan Love another weapon, and with the right coaching staff and rehab plan, Diggs could still be a significant contributor. And now, Green Bay fans, you have to consider the broader implications. The NFC North is getting more competitive each year. The Detroit Lions have been building a formidable offense, with Jared Goff leading the way, and the Minnesota Vikings are always dangerous when they have a healthy roster. The Chicago Bears are in a rebuilding phase, but their young quarterback and draft picks could pose a threat in the near future. So, for Green Bay, making bold moves this offseason could be crucial to staying relevant and potentially overtaking their division rivals. Remember, the Packers aren't just looking for a short-term fix. They want to establish a winning culture that can contend for championships consistently. Adding a player like Diggs, even if only for a season, could be part of that strategy, an experienced guy who can elevate the offense while the team develops its younger core. And with Jordan Love now firmly at the helm, the pressure is on him to take that next step and lead a more potent, more explosive offense. Looking ahead, the NFL offseason is always full of surprises. Trades, signings, restructures, sometimes the most unexpected moves turn out to be the most impactful. The Packers, with their rich history of smart drafting and player development, might surprise us all by making a bold move in free agency or via trade to bring in a veteran like Diggs. Or they might choose to stay conservative, focusing on young talent and waiting for the right moment. Whatever they decide, one thing is for sure. The NFC North is about to get even more interesting, and the Packers are right in the middle of that story. So fans, what do you think? Is Stefon Diggs the missing piece for Green Bay to finally push into serious Super Bowl contention again? Or is it too risky, especially coming off an ACL injury and at his age? Would you prefer they focus on developing their young guys or draft a receiver to grow into that role? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Green Bay Packers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Green Bay Packers news. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. Let's keep this community strong, informed, and passionate about our beloved Packers.